Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of Statement List PLC programming. And in this video we talk about how to implement SR latching in STL. You will probably always need SR latches in your program. For example, maybe implementing a motor start-stop block, maybe making some interlocks. Actually, you will have it everywhere in your code. Now if this block is our SR latch. As you can see, it needs to have two inputs. A set input and a reset input. It should also have one output. Now, it should actually behave according to that table. First, if the set input is 1 and the reset input is 0. Set action takes place and the output becomes 1. However, if the reset input is 1 and the set input is 0, reset action takes place and output becomes 0. And if both inputs are 0, output should not change. That's why we sometimes call that case the memory case. Now, what if both inputs are 1? We say that for an SR latch, reset should be the dominant case. This means that if we have both inputs at 1, since the reset is dominant, output will get reset and become 0. The opposite of that is what you would see in an RS latch, where basically the dominant state is the set state. Therefore, for it, when both inputs are 1, the output will be set and it becomes 1. Now, at those inputs, if instead you had some logic instructions or conditions, we call the conditions connected to the set input the set conditions. And for our reset input we have the reset conditions. Now to implement them. An SR latch is implemented with one set instruction and one reset instruction, both working with the same address. And the reset instruction has to come last to override the set output if both of our inputs were 1. So here, in our example, we have our two instructions. This is the set conditions. And these are the reset conditions. You should now note that the set input will be nothing but the RLO before the set instruction. And the same goes for the reset input, which will be the RLO just before the reset instruction. Now, first let's say we want 1 on the set. So we push any of those two inputs to 1. And we want zeros at those three inputs to make our reset input 0. And as you can see, with 1 here and 0 here, the address will get set to 1 as shown here and in the status bit. Now if we want to reset our output, we just need to do the opposite of what we did before. So we want 0 here and 1 here. And therefore we push those two inputs to 0 and at least one of those inputs to 1. And now we have 0 here as our set input. And 1 here as our reset input, so the output will be reset back to 0 as shown here and in the status bit. Now, to the memory case, so if we change all of our inputs here to 0, nothing should happen, so output will stay reset. And let's go back to our set case. So again, we push any of those two inputs to 1. And we want zeros at those three inputs. And now, we go to the memory case a second time by making all our inputs zeros. As you can see here, the output remains set. Therefore, we have successfully implemented our memory case. And finally, let's change one input here to 1. And one input here to 1. And as you can see, the output gets reset. So there you have it, a functioning SR latch. Now, to something very important. If we look here, we see that the status bit after the set instruction is 1. This indicates that the value of our output became 1 after that set instruction. And when the reset instruction came, it changed it back to 0. What this tells you is that it is important that you don't place anything that on the value of our output here in the middle. So that's it for our SR latch example. You should have probably guessed now how to implement an RS latch. So the only thing that is different is that the set instruction has to come last. And with this simple example, you can see that if we have set at 1, reset at 0, result will be 1. Then with set at 0 and reset at 1, result becomes 0. And with 2 zeros, nothing happens. And finally, 2 ones. We will have our result set at 1. So set is dominant here. And with that our RS latch is also finished. The RS latch is rarely used, so we'll mostly use the SR latch only. And with that said, we come to the end of our video, and in the next video we should discuss flag control instructions. So stay tuned and please like, comment and subscribe to the channel.